my name is Jimmy Williams with NFL Draft Diamonds. And here with me today, I have a stud safety for you guys to meet. If you don't know his name already, this here is Buck Kamara, and he is out of Yale University. How's it going today, man?
It's going great. How you doing today, Jimmy?
Doing fine. We are starting our interview series with perhaps the best small school prospect this season. Had a fantastic year last year for Yale. Ended up being defensive player of the Ivy League last year, which is great. And coming up on some preseason lists, just dropped the preseason All American, which you were mentioned on that, as well as the Buck Buchanan Award watch list. So a lot of great expectations for this year, man. But before we get rolling, just kind of, I don't know, give me a little bit about yourself. How long you been playing football? Just kind of give me some background if you don't mind.
I started playing football third grade. It was actually it was the day of my birthday, July 29th. I seen a poster on this pole, and I said, you know what? Why not? I'll just try it. I was the first of my friends to try it. And ever since I started playing, I loved it. My first couple days of practice, no shoulder pad. I mean, I had shoulder pads, no practice jersey. Was out there in shorts and a bucket helmet. I played center, played D line. And then from there, growing up, my love for the game was just, I was always a hyper go lucky. I was going out and just running. Loved to be outside. So I loved the game. I loved to be outside. I loved going to practice. I loved all of it. So I continued to just fall in love with the game. And what's crazy is this might sound crazy, but I didn't actually start taking football serious until after my junior season. I was always football and basketball, and I loved basketball better. I was, long arms, long frame, loved basketball. I thought that would be it for me, but football had other plans, and I can't be mad at it.
Yeah, so of course, a lot of people know you as a football player, just a little bit more of that background. Have you out of Prospect Park, Pennsylvania, attending Interborough High School, and again, as you had mentioned, basketball guy there for a bit, and did just a wee bit of track as well. So,
Yeah.
give me one of your, I don't know, favorite moments from your high school days.
From my high school days, so all the way up until actually all the way up until my senior year, program was bad. You had like 2-6 seasons, 2-7 seasons where we just continued to lose games back to back to back. And it wasn't until my senior year we actually finally put it together. We had a solid group of seniors. We put it together. We finished, I want to say 9-4, 10-4, won a district championship. Second team in school history to win District 1 4A championship. Played my first ever state playoff game my senior year, which was really fun. It was a in county rivalry, so we played PCL Bonner and Prendy. We played them. Didn't go the way we wanted to, but the experience of doing it at Interborough, the public school. I had a lot of people tell me like, "Hey, transfer out. You're not gonna go play Division 1 football. This, that, and the third." But I kind of stuck it out with those guys, and we did all that we could. So
And little did they know that you would be playing for Yale University. Um, of course, Yale goes back so far, man. Like the history there is great. And so coming out of high school, how'd you end up at Yale? I mean, I know you were playing like safety, some running back, linebacker, a little bit of all that, but like, how did you ultimately end up at Yale? Talk about the recruiting.
so I was a late bloomer, is what they call it. I didn't get offered to Yale until after my senior season. So I remember the date. It was December 16th, 2022. That's when the Yale coach came in. It was random for me because I'm thinking like, hey, I'm putting good tape together, but I took care of everything I needed to take care of, but Yale was never in my sights, and then obviously Yale came knocking, and that kind of slimmed my decisions down because I was getting a lot of Big Ten, Big 12 interest, but the interest I was getting from them was from those schools were, hey, if we don't get our guys' first signing date, we'll come back around, and I felt as though I put a solid senior tape together, and I didn't want to be anybody's second option, so when Yale reached out to me and when Coach Reno offered me, I felt wanted, and I was like, Yale's this place. What's interesting is you mentioned I played a little bit of running back. I was actually recruited to Yale to play running back. Finished my senior season with about 2,800 yards, 42 all-purpose touchdowns, 11 interceptions. So running back coach Saitu, he gave me the option. I kind of said I wanted to play defense because that's where the money is.
It's also nice to hit people.
Yeah.
So that's just kind of how that goes. But there's another guy there at Yale that did great. So kudos to him for holding down the running back position. But you yourself, the leader there on the defense, and just I guess recently named team captain, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So team captain for Yale. Talk about the defense and your role there. Again, we mentioned you again. You're a safety, but like you do a little bit of everything. Like you come down to the box and do what have you. But chat just a little bit about you and your role in that defense.
Within the defense, I'm kind of like the Swiss Army knife. Hey, Coach McGowan puts me all over the field. He finds different ways to use me on the field, whether that's blitzing, dropping in coverage, disguising the three high. I'm all over the field, and I think it's fun. But I've always been that way since I was younger. I never wanted to just focus on one thing. I think my mindset is to be able to have everything in my toolbox to be able to now, to be able to play multiple positions. So I think sometime there were some packages last year where they had me at D end. I was in some of the stunts. Obviously my primary position is outside linebacker slash nickelback, if you want to call it. And then my sophomore year, I played majority the first half of the season. I played majority boundary safety. But with all those like learning all those positions, it just helps me learn the defense a lot more, and I understand like because I can if I'm helping a young guy, I can like visualize and say, hey, you're supposed to fill in the C gap because we had the DNs wide and the that tackle blocked out to him, so open wide, step inside. That's kind of my mindset with that. But just overall in the defense, I just think Coach McGowan does a great job putting me all over, and that just gives me more opportunities to make plays. So, everything new that we introduce, I try my best to find ways to make plays within that scheme.
Well, you're a key player on defense, and the coaches there they just put you in prime position to make plays because they know that you are a high impact guy. I mean, last year, just having the ability to create turnovers, pick up fumbles, and all of that were great. Three forced fumbles, four fumble recoveries last year. 76 total tackles, two interceptions, 13 PBUs in 2025. So, don't know if you're trying to best that this year, but that alone, still pretty solid. Um, really showing that you're a big time player, able to affect the game in a whole lot of ways. Anything else that you feel separates you from others at your position as one of the top safeties in this draft?
I think the aggressiveness in which I play with. I think growing up, where I'm from, it's like when you start playing football, you need to learn how to hit. So I think that's just something I carried with me, and I carried that chip on my shoulder every time I play, like as if someone's coming to take my spot. So I think I play with like I'm just very 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 aggressive, and you can see it on some of the hits I make, and just the way, and I like to talk a little bit. I wouldn't say that's the number one thing, but that helps me, that boosts me, that helps that aggressive edge.
Are you a big time trash talker? Is that what you're saying, buddy?
Yeah.
Hey, but if you could talk the talk and walk the walk, I mean, so be it. I mean, people gotta, make plays on you, and if they can't, then that's on them. You're doing your
Yeah,
job. You're going
yeah,
out there and you're executing, which you've done. You did a great job of last year. Again, as I'd mentioned, defensive player of the year for the Ivy League last year, and solid year, man. You guys went 9-3. Completely, went undefeated in the Ivy League and had an opportunity to go to the playoffs for
yes,
the first time in team history. They decided, yeah, let's get in on this playoff thing, and you guys end up getting to the playoffs and did a great job. So let's chat a little bit about this past season. One of the things that we really haven't talked about too much is special teams. Bro, you are a great special teams player. Let's just put it out there, let people know about it. You are not just an impact guy on defense, but special teams as well. Uh, Cornell, I have on my list that you blocked a kick in that one. Uh,
yeah.
Talk to me.
So that one was a funny one. It was end of the first half, and I looked to my strong safety, Josh Tarver. I said, hey man, what we doing here? So let's go. So we kind of just dropped our nuts a little bit and just went after it. And obviously, we knew one of us was going to get free. So it ended up being me, and but not it wasn't just myself. Kudos to the whole D line, linebackers, everybody that's up there on that special teams unit. It's like we take pride in special teams. So although I'm the one that blocked it, it wasn't just a me thing.
No, I feel you. I mean, and
Yeah,
as you had mentioned, it was a race between you and Tarver. So like it was going to be one of y'all.
yeah,
To happen to
yeah,
be the lucky guy
yeah,
to make it in. So yeah, just kind of wanted to highlight that. I mean, great special teams guy. Very versatile. We talked about that before for a guy who can play a little bit of everywhere. When we're talking about you as a safety, I mean, um, how I guess what do you play the most? Like, do you play more in the box or what's talk to me a little bit about like the how you're used because I know you're used all over, but I'm just saying
yeah.
like most.
Primarily, I'm used at nickel.
Okay,
Yeah. So
so
and then
nickel
it kind
nickel
of
linebacker like that sort of.
yeah,
So
yeah. We in our defense, it's more so of a nickel safety. So then from there it expands out to whatever package we're in.
gotcha, and that's because of the 4-2-5 that I think a lot of
Yeah.
collegiate teams are running this year.
Yes.
These days. So
Yeah.
um, there's always a couple key matchups in the Ivy League, teams that are big time rivals. Always got to think about Princeton and Harvard. In your game against Princeton, very tight matchup, but you ended up being named the Ivy League Defensive Player of the Week for that one. It was a very tight game, 13-10 victory. And you're all over the place making plays. Talk to me about that game against Princeton.
That was actually one of the games we went into that package where I was at the end a bit. So kind of exciting for me. Like we've repped it in practice, but that was the first time we pulled that package out. And that was a up and down game, and I just because we're talking about Princeton, I'm speaking about all the Ivies. I respect all the Ivies. All the Ivies have great talent, great players. So every week is a battle. We'll go into it knowing that it's a battle. So obviously we went down to Princeton. It was a battle. That game just plays to be made all over. I have family not from Princeton, but obviously Philadelphia is not too far. So I had some family come out to that game. And that was a game that was gonna kind of determine, the stakes for obviously when we played TFN. So we knew we had to handle business that game. And me personally, I obviously as a leader on the defense, I had to handle business as well. There was a few key leaders on our defense that, there's this saying like we go as they go, and I felt as though I was one of those guys in that game, along with others. So we had to kind of set the pace, set the tone, and make plays. And the way I think of it is, don't force the plays, make the plays that come to you, and you'll be successful.
Great. Want to mention this very briefly since you kind of touched on it. I mean, much respect to all the teams in the Ivy League. There's a lot of great talent there. So much so that I feel like it's kind of a pipeline for a lot of guys to transfer. And it happens all the time. Tarver, you had mentioned him. He had hit an opportunity to transfer out, and so
Yes.
he's not there. Um, but you yourself, man, sticking around, and I feel like, dude, there had to have been a couple of teams knocking, like somebody maybe
Yes.
reaching out. Like,
Yes.
talk to me about the loyalty and what it means to be an Ivy League guy, like through and through.
I think loyalty is one of my core values as as who I am. I value that a lot. And I go back to the fact that Coach Reno and the staff, they took a chance on me. They were loyal to me within their recruiting process. So why not show the loyalty back? And also, it's the grass isn't always greener. I've seen a bunch of my hometown friends. They've made the move and it wasn't what they thought it would be. So getting like later on in my collegiate career, I was just chasing stability. And I felt Yale was the spot that I was statewide. I knew what I was gonna get, regardless if I was getting paid or not. I just knew my career was in good hands staying at Yale.
And if we're being honest, hey, you're in a position to maybe even be in a spot for a national title. And yes, I
Yes,
did
sir.
say that. A lot of people don't give Ivy League respect, but you guys earned your respect this year because you were able to get yourselves to the playoffs. And you had this one game against Youngstown State. You guys came back. I mean, I know it's a high scoring game, maybe not exactly what you want as defensive player,
Yeah.
but your ability to make a game changing play and help your team come back was very great. So talk about that game against Youngstown before we move forward.
That Youngstown game was that first half was tough. Obviously, our first time playing, another conference besides the NEC or the Patriot League teams. So it was an adjustment. Obviously, we realized that we could play at that level, but you know we had to settle in that first half, and I'm just disappointed that it took that long for us to settle in. But once we did get settled in, we kind of knew that as long as we take care of what we practiced and what we repped, um, that we would be fine. And credit to all the guys in the Yale program and our core values and what we talk about because every I want to give a shout out to Coach Knight. He doesn't usually talk. He's our receivers coach. He doesn't usually talk at halftime. He's just a quiet guy. He comes in halftime. He says, "Hey man, forget we talk about winning moments." He was like, "Forget winning a moment. Let's go build a moment." We're not gonna go out. We're not gonna come all the way out to Youngstown, Ohio, and just give the game to them. And that kind of just sparked the flame. We went out there and I'm not sure if offense went out or defense went out first, but offensively they started to gain a little bit of momentum and drive, and we realized as a defense, well, if the offense is doing this, we have to have their back and do the things we need to defensively. So it started with obviously Numi's forced fumble, and then I recovered it, and then from there, momentum just continued to build and build and build, and then obviously we didn't, as a defense and as a team, as a program, we didn't want to look too far ahead. It was just taking it one play at a time, and obviously we got the outcome that we wanted.
Yeah, I mean, that forced fumble, the fumble recovery, great opportunity to shift the tide and ultimately, win that game. And again, just kind of wanted to highlight the fact that you were up against uh, the toughest competition, the quarterback who ultimately ended up winning the Walter Payton award winner, and then of course falling to Montana State, the eventual champion. So you guys are this close to that national title, that if you have a similar year, this year again, I mean, you're going to put yourself in that position. So um, chat about some of the guys that are still there at Yale. Talk about some of your teammates and how you guys are ultimately going to get to that spot again.
Um, start up front with the big boys. Look, gotta give them some love. I'll start offensively. We're returning Quentin Lewis, uh, guard from Georgia, great offensive lineman. Plays with a chip, plays with some aggression. Obviously our quarterback Dante Reno returning him. He's going to be great for us. We have two up and coming juniors at the running back position. I think that 1-2 punch would be great. We have Hugo Drumeni and Cutler Adams. I think they'll be big time for us. In the receiver room, we have Jackson Santiago, rising junior, and then rising sophomore Lucius Anderson. I think those two will lead that room, and hopefully we will get more guys to step up within that room. Then defensively, we're returning almost everybody. So just to name a few, obviously we have Brandon Webster at corner. We have Phoenix Grant at linebacker, Jalen Tate, Cooper Austin, Mac Johnson, Zarian Jackson Bast, Xavier Coleman. We have a bunch of dogs up front. James Cave, just to name a few. Then in the back end, we have myself. We have Osize Danian. He's returning. We have two up and coming juniors, Billy Eastep and JP Schmidt. So we have a lot of guys that'll step up big time for us, and I know in my heart that we'll get the job done.
Yeah, a lot of great talent there, not just yourself, but a lot of great talent there at Yale University this year, and expecting to be in contention once again for Ivy League championships and getting themselves deep in the playoffs. So,
Yeah.
very exciting to look forward to. Again, talked about your teammates, want to focus in on you and meet the guy under the helmet. Tell me a little bit about you, if you don't mind. If there's any sort of fun facts, had in my notes. I think are you a poli sci major? Like, is that
Yes, sir.
still at?
Yes,
Uh,
sir.
chat to me a little bit. Chat with me a little bit about you.
Um, I would say I would call myself a charismatic, outgoing, funny guy. If you once you get to know me, I think initially I may come off as a little bit mean or just the way my face sits, but I think overall I'm a very easy guy. I cut hair, I golf a bit. I wouldn't say I'm the best golfer, but I'm learning.
All right.
And then like to hang out with the guys, like to spend time with my family. Yeah, just
Cool. You come
easy,
from a big
outgoing guy.
family, or what?
Say that again.
You come from a big family, or what?
Um, yeah, my mom's side's not my immediate family, but my mom has a lot of aunts. I think she was one of eight sisters, and she had two brothers. My dad had a couple brothers. They're from West Africa, Sierra Leone, obviously. What else? What else? What else about me? I just think easygoing guy.
Gotcha. Well, let me get to some silly questions, Abu. So these are somewhat random. So just play along if you don't mind. What's a typical breakfast for you?
Steak and eggs.
For
Buttery,
breakfast?
yeah, buttery garlic steak and eggs. Um, I forgot the name of it. I think they're called sunny side up eggs. Like the
Okay.
yolk running a little bit. Um, I like it a lot. It's my go-to.
Gotcha. There's sunny side up, and then there's over easy. Over easy is where everything is like white, and then you have the sunny side up is when it's just you see the yolk in the middle. So I don't know
Yeah, I
which.
think it's sunny side up. I think it's sunny
Okay,
side up.
cool. Um, cheat meal. Give me a cheat meal, whether it's something that your family makes or like if you love a restaurant nearby.
Um, I would say my cheat meal is probably there's this. There's this deli not too far from the bowl. You can get wings and fries for $8. You don't you don't see that too often anymore.
You
So
can't get that
yeah,
for $8 anywhere. So
yeah,
yeah, um,
yeah. It's a
that's
go-to spot.
cool. Um, I'm assuming, with again you being a football guy, maybe watching, several football movies. What's your favorite football movie?
Interview real quick. Oh yeah. Say that one more time. I'm
What's
sorry.
your favorite football movie?
One more time.
Favorite football movie?
Favorite football movie is probably Safety. With the Clemson safety.
Yeah,
And he had
that's
a
I've seen that one a couple times. That
yeah.
one's on Disney, right?
Yes,
So,
yes, yes,
um,
yes, yes.
cool, cool. Um, uh, Maybe a book recommendation. Like, I don't know if you fancy yourself a reader, but I imagine you've read several things being at
Yeah.
Yale. So maybe something that someone didn't necessarily force you to read.
I think my favorite book is it's a book by Kwame Alexander. I read it back in seventh grade. I remember my sixth grade teacher gave it to me. I forgot the title, but it was a really inspiring book to me. I forgot the title. I'm drawing a
No,
blank on the title, but
Kwame
it was a really
Alexander
inspiring
is
book.
it is the author. We can search it up
Yeah,
later, but
yeah.
something to look at. Um, Let me ask you one more, and then this one might be the last one before we move forward. Um, you ever thought, and this is a deep thing to talk about. So, if there was like maybe a charity or a cause that you might use your football platform for, like,
Yeah.
is there anything that really hits home for you that you are really passionate about?
I think helping out family back in Africa, back in Sierra Leone, not just my family, but all the kids in Sierra Leone, giving them a better opportunity to, experience more to life than just what's in Sierra Leone. I think the biggest thing for me is obviously helping those kids live a good life, helping those kids enjoy, obviously because I was able to enjoy a lot of my childhood. So just doing the same for that for them.
Right. I know the expectation is for you to get drafted, be in the NFL here, very soon. Um, is there a guy in the NFL that you're just such a big fan of? Like, is there somebody who you've watched more tape of him than anyone else? Maybe a guy at your position.
A guy at my position that I watch the most is probably Brian Branch, but a guy that I'm a real fan of is Foye Oluokun. Obviously a Yale guy. I speak to Foye a lot. And I'm just a fan of, how he plays, the aggression that he plays with, and also the IQ that he plays with. I think that combo makes him such a great player and, you know, hopefully
And
continues to have successful seasons.
and we've kind of talked along those lines about you as well. Um, the football IQ is there, the aggression is there, the versatility is there. Dude, you have the athleticism to fly around everywhere and make plays, whether it's on the edge or, a single high or on special teams. You have the ability to impact the game in so many different ways. As we close up our time, if there's anything else that we have yet to say about you, and maybe a reason to get you to the next level, the reason to get you drafted. Close us with your final thoughts.
Um, I'm willing to do whatever it takes, whether I have to sleep at the facility, sleep in the car, and get to practice every day. I mean, I've always been that way. If whatever opportunity strikes itself, I'll take advantage of. I'm not one of those guys that's too cool to do something. If you say go stand over there and be the special teams dummy, I'll stand over there. I'll stand over there and be the special teams dummy. If you need me to do anything, I'm one of those guys, and I think that's rare nowadays. Guys feel as though they've earned their stripes, and even with the success I had here at Yale, I'm still making sure I'm doing the little things because little things stand out the most, and you don't want to get the perception that all right, this guy's too cool to do this or this guy's too cool to do that. I want to be able to be looked at as a guy that's willing to do anything. I'm still sweeping floors at the basketball games and you would think I would be chilling in the couch playing video games, but I'm still doing the things I need to, just so I'm not distant and people can feel that I'm a real person.
Right. Well, appreciate you, man. Obviously, you're a player and man who leads by example on and off the field, doing a great job. Again, team captain this year for Yale University, expecting great things. But Abu, want to wish you all the best this season and beyond. Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Cool, man. Well, once again, I got with me Abu Kamara, safety out of Yale University. Check him out this season.